All right, let me try to get this video done while there's still decent light out. At least I hope it's decent for the video. But last week I did a video on the Google event that took place today, and I just kind of talked about what I was looking forward to and what I thought they might present and stuff like that. So I just want to do a recap on this. It's not going to be in-depth on the Pixel phone and everything like that, because there's plenty of other sources, probably better sources where you can get that information, but I'm just going to give you kind of the layman's view of what happened in the event today, and maybe a little bit of a Google kind of fanboy aspect to that, since I am definitely into their ecosystem. So, and I have my little notes here so I don't forget to talk about anything, and hopefully keep it somewhat organized. So anyway, the underlying thread through the whole presentation was AI, software, and hardware, and how Google is tying all those together. So a quick note, I think that's where Google is starting to excel in their hardware. They might not always have the best and latest and greatest hardware, you know, and making leaps and bounds above everybody else. But I think when they tie their software and especially their AI in with their products, that's what makes everything superior. Although when I do say that, you know, I think sometimes their hardware maybe, you know, isn't leaps and bounds above the rest. I think their camera technology and the visual core chip that they have put into their phones just blows everybody away. So I'm not saying that isn't above and beyond everything else. But back to the three components, the AI, software, and hardware. I think Google just kind of masters putting those together. So where they have a product that is on par, maybe hardware spec with everything else, it's those other two components that just throw them, in my book, to the top of the list. So, real quick, Pixel 3, you know, again, great specs, great camera, good, I think, progression from the 2 to the 3, and you know, from a hardware perspective, you know, that's great. Software, they're just adding so much more into it with the camera, the charging stand that they have that will turn your phone less into a phone and more of another display that could be like a photo album or weather or other things like that. So, you know, good stuff out there. Again, you can go find other sites and blogs and vlogs and everything that'll do a much better job describing all of that. I was really excited to hear more about it, and when I was listening to the presentation, I'm like, you know, I want a Pixel 3, I want a Pixel 3, and when I spec out the Pixel 3 that I want, because I think I want a bigger screen, I've been opting for the smaller screen on the Pixel, which I've been totally happy with, but I've always bumped up the memory. I'll want as much memory as I can get. So the bigger Pixel 3 with the memory is just hard for me to justify the price right now, but I'm sure that it won't be too long before I have one. So that's the Pixel 3. Some of the things that caught my attention, or maybe one thing that didn't catch my attention, I really thought that they were going to be announcing a Pixel Buds 2. Nothing about that. Looks like they're going to carry on with the Pixel Buds for now. Maybe they're going to release something a little bit later. So again, one thing I thought they were going to talk about, but they didn't. So on to, let's see, two things that really kind of caught my attention. One was the Google Home Hub, which is their next iteration of the Google Assistant that has the screen, and just the tie-in of that screen and the Google Assistant, the AI built behind that, just brings it more to the, you know, the forefront. And I see having that in at least one room in the house, you know, because of the versatility of it, being able to ask it questions. I think the responses you get from Google Assistant are very good when it does know what to answer. And I think having that screen for, additional information like the weather, it can tell you the weather, but then, being able to see it, that's going to be nice. One of the big things that I see using it for is in the kitchen. I've mentioned this before. Recipes, just being able to follow recipes, and your hands are dirty, whatever, and you can just say, show me the next step, and it moves on. And then the added functionality in that I like that they kind of touched on, is that say you're making eggs Benedict and you're going through the recipe and it talks about poaching an egg, and while you're at that step of the recipe, hey Google, show me how to poach an egg, and up pops a video of how to do that. So I think there's a lot of utility in that. I also like the fact that when you're not really actively using the hub, that it will turn into a photo frame if you wanted to. And in addition to that, they've come up with these live albums, and this is technology they've kind of had around, but I think they're making more use of it. I know with the Google Photos before, you could, now it's trying to show me how to poach an egg. So anyway, you could pick a person and share certain photos with them. So like my wife, any picture I take of her and my son automatically gets shared with her. So they kind of had that ability, but now we can create albums, and any pictures you take will, the people will automatically get added to that album, and then you can share that album with other people. So great, and you can whoever has access to that album, grandparents, parents, relatives that aren't nearby, can see the latest and greatest pictures. But they've taken it a step further. It's not every picture you take. There's some AI built in there. The pictures that aren't as good, somebody's blinking or picking their nose or whatever, aren't going to get added to the album. And in addition, if you take 4 or 5 pictures, which I always do, I always take at least 2-3 pictures, just to, one of them's got to be good, is my view, and so the AI will look through the pictures and determine which one is the best one and add that to the album. So you're not going to get 5 shots of the same thing in there, same shot, same composure of the same person. So really, I like that aspect of it. Also, built-in ambient lighting, so as it gets darker, the screen dims, turns kind of more yellowish, and then will go off. So I like that. Again, they didn't include a camera on that, and they said purposely because they want you to be able to put it in any room in your house, like your bedroom, and use it as an alarm clock, and wake up in the morning and get your agenda and your news right there on the screen. So really, really like that. Google Home Hub, supposed to be retailing for $149 US, and I think that's going on sale a little bit later this month. The other thing that they talked about that I really like is the Google Slate, their latest iteration of the tablet. I think it's been 2 or 3 years since they've put one out. What I really like about the tablet is that it's got the Android operating system on it. I've talked about this before, where with my phone, what I like about it is just pure Android, right? I'm not getting a lot of the crapware and other skins and things that people put on it, other companies put on it. So same thing with that tablet. I can see that, for me, it's like, that's great. I like the bare bones. Give it to me, let me add what I want, and I think it'll be easier to customize. So with that, you get all the features and functionality of the Google Assistant. Again, talked a lot about that. Try not to talk about that too much more. The screen is going to be much better on it, so you can get more crisp pictures out of it. Speakers on it, so you get better sound. 2 speakers on that. One of the things they did mention too was this Titan Security, which I guess is a security chip that's built on there, so the data leaving the device kind of secured, and it's stored on the device secured, so more protection for your personal information on there. That's, I guess, those are the kind of the notes that I took on the Pixel Slate. But Checking over other things. Yeah, I think that's, I don't want to get too long-winded on this. I probably already am, but those are probably the two big things. Like I said, I still like the Pixel 3, excited about that. Just a little further out of my reach right now. So, good event. I'm glad I tuned in, and I don't know, when I start getting some of these devices, if I start getting these devices, I'll go ahead and throw up a review and maybe an unboxing and tutorial on going through them. So I think it's probably getting dark. Hopefully you can still see me, but if not, have a great evening. And even if you can, have a great evening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.